Okay, guys, this is the Wholesale Diva coming back again to you live. We're going to try this again. I think because of weather and the storms, we're running into so many problems. I'm going to try to bring my guests back online. Um, let's get Tierra back on. Invite friends. We're getting the backlash of that hurricane. I'm going to try to bring her back in. Okay, Tierra, I should be able to bring you back. See, it says it's adding you. There you are. I am so sorry. I don't know what happened.
Are you fine? I'm really trying to get these headphones to work with it. It just doesn't like the
I think
live
it's
feed.
because of the storms and everything that we're dealing with.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. Now you were elaborating on something before we got disconnected.
Yes, I was elaborating on the fact that the basically the reason that I started the bird dog experts because there's nothing
Hmm.
really centered around bird dog education. And so I wanted to set up
Right.
something that is like interactive for one, and two, it is detailed information about bird dogging because a lot of things, especially wholesaling, it's just like a lot of you know, you learn it when you learn it type of thing. And what if you can just not make that mistake in the first place, or what if you knew that in the first place without having to learn it later
If
or
you
make
knew it
that
up
mistake or
front.
whatever?
Yeah.
And so
Hmm.
I am going to make a course soon, but I'm not focused on that right now. I do have a lot of that already, kind of written down and everything and planned. But right now, I do have my new group called the Bird Dog Experts. And the reason I charge for it is because, like I said, people don't really value what it's a room style. So it's like unit one. We just finished our this Wednesday, I just posted another video. It was centered around, the value of what the group is and everything. But it's a one weekly video that is already pre-recorded and in detail about whatever subject it is. Then after that, you have like a few days to reflect on the video, watch it, take notes or whatever you need. And then on Mondays, we have the live stream. So you bring whatever questions you have to the live stream, or you can go ahead and comment on that video, and then the next day we have a conference call, so you can ask live questions on the conference call. And the reason I had the live stream and the conference call is because sometimes things just come up and they pop in your head, and either you forget to comment or um, it's better when things are flowing live rather than having it pre-recorded. People just work like that for some reason. Like you can have a really good conversation with somebody, but when you sit down to make a video, then you forget everything you were saying.
Yeah, that's true. So I think that's a great idea. I'm putting together, I've made over 400 videos over the years, so I'm putting together a curriculum now too that I'm going to market online in Udemy and Teachable. So people will be able to
Okay.
just go there, pay, and then just take the training course. Because a lot of people are in different states, can't get to me, or they can't afford the mentorship, or they can't afford to fly me out, or whatever the situation is. So I'm going to put together that online course for them so they can take it. And yeah, you have to have them have some skin in the game because if you give it
Mhm.
to them free, people don't appreciate it. They don't
And
appreciate free.
cheap too. It's super cheap. Right now it's just $5 a month. And I had somebody tell me that they're tied up in a lot of things. And I'm like, but do you have Netflix?
They don't have
Like
$5. How much does a pack of cigarettes cost? How much does a cup of Starbucks cost? Oh, come on
and
now.
I'm like,
People
you
spend money
can't
on what they want. I've
yeah.
learned that. People spend money on what they want. Guys, give us some hearts and let us know you're in here. Everybody hit that heart button. Everybody hit that thumbs up button and let us know you're in here. And start posting your questions. We're going to go into our Q&A in a few minutes. So start posting your
Yeah.
questions so Tara and I can answer any questions that you might have about bird dogging, wholesaling, the real estate game, or anything like that. So Tiara,
Yeah.
are you
So,
ready for the lightning round? We
I'm
got to
sorry,
go
say that
into our
again?
lightning. We're going into the lightning round.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. So 3, 2, 1. I'm going to say something to you, whether it's a sentence or a word, and you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Okay.
You ready? Success,
Money.
women,
Men.
entrepreneurs,
Wealth.
wealth,
Finance.
persistence,
Success.
focus,
Goals.
mentors,
Learning.
your favorite book,
The Millionaire Success Habits.
your favorite song,
Big Bank.
your favorite TV show.
I'm sorry. Do Netflix series count?
I guess so, if it's on TV.
Okay, well, it's a tie between American Horror Story and Big Mouth.
Okay. Cake or pie?
Cake.
Okay. Wholesale or rehab?
Wholesale.
Okay. Who's the best negotiator, men or women?
Women.
You know they're going to ask you why on that one. If you could ask God one question, what would it be?
Why did you send me to Earth?
Okay. Your favorite car?
Volkswagen Beetle.
Fish or meat?
Meat.
Okay. That is our lightning round. And now, guys, if you could post those questions, we want to give a shout out to Denisha, Karen, Isaiah, Lewis, Paula. I know we had a lot more people on the first, when we were doing the first recording, and we got disconnected because it's pouring down rain here in Dallas. I don't know if it's going on out there where you guys are, but we're getting the butt of that hurricane. So I don't
Yes,
know
it's
how long.
nothing. It's nothing going
Yeah,
on up here at all.
exactly.
I
No,
hope
it's
you guys
calm.
are okay.
Yeah, we're okay. I mean, it's just really raining really bad outside. Like it'll come in spurts, like whoosh, and then it'll stop for a minute. Look, and then whoosh, like like God is spanking somebody. Like I always say when it rains hard like that, God is mad at somebody. He's trying to wash something clean. I don't know what the situation is. So, guys, post your questions so we can go in and get those answered for you. We want to try to answer any questions that you might have. Anything that comes to your mind, no question is a dumb question. So, hit us up with those questions. Denisha,
Oh, yes,
uh,
yes. No question is a dumb question.
no question is a dumb question. So, ask it and we'll give you a dumb answer. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, guys, hit us up with those questions. Tierra and I are here available to answer those questions for you while we're doing the live now. We've been talking about wholesaling, bird dogging, the different aspects of the business, why women are more successful in the business as opposed to men, how we're in an old boys network, and some of the problems that you run into when you're wholesaling a deal or when you're bird dogging on a deal. So if you have any questions, type them in the box. Let us know. Hit those heart buttons. Let us know you're here. Give us a thumbs up if this is good information for you. And in the meantime, I guess that I'm waiting on them to post some questions. So Tara and I will just kind of conversate. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about, Tara, specifically?
Did you want me to kind of expand on the reason I think women are better negotiators?
Good point. So let's talk about that because we're in the old boys network. So yeah. But wait, we got a
Oh,
question.
okay.
How did you both start wholesaling on your area?
But you missed the first video.
Let's answer. Okay. Sylvia Franklin says, how did you both get started wholesaling in your area? How did you get started, Tara?
Bird dogging, drive for dollars.
Okay. And the way I got started, I was going through a very bad divorce and I went to a 3-day seminar and it changed my life. I mean, I did my first deal in less than 2 weeks and I made $10,000. So that's how I
Wow.
got started.
Yeah, that
What
motivation
resources
is really, yeah.
the resources I used was driving for dollars and bandit signs. What did you do, Tier?
Yeah, driving for dollars and mailing letters.
Okay. And it says, what lessons did you learn? I guess from our initial first deal. You want to tell them about the lessons you learned?
Oh, from the first deal, I didn't really learn like a lesson. Um,
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess what I learned from that is people will, if the motivation is there, people will accept your offer. So at first, she actually declined our offer. It was like $50,000. And
Mm-hmm.
a week later, she texted me back. I was like, hey, I'll go ahead and take the offer. And also, another thing with that was you want to build rapport. You don't just want to go to a house or communicate with the seller and let it only be about the house. We met her daughter. We kind of met her son. He didn't talk to us, but we had to meet what up with her daughter at the house. She was showing us the house around, and she had a dog. They had a dog at the house. And so the next time we went to the house, we brought our dog and they played a little bit. We got to know her a little bit. And so I do feel like her daughter was one who convinced her to go back and say, "Hey, mom, you should probably go ahead and accept their offer." You want it to be, you want to actually feel a connection with the seller, not treat them like a product that you're selling.
I agree with you 100%. And just to elaborate on that a little bit, I always tell this story in my seminars. I went to a lady's house and she was an elderly lady and she was in a rocking chair. She never got out of that rocking chair the whole time I was there. And let me tell you, I had to watch Creflo Dollar, Joyce Myers, and what's the guy in Houston? God, his name is right on the
Joel
tip of my
Osteen?
tongue.
Joel Osteen?
Joel. So I was there 3 to 6 hours. I had to sit and watch all those shows with her, talk about her life. She got her photo album out and showed me pictures of when she was 16. So I agree with you 100%. It's not, and that's why I feel women are more adaptable to this business. It's not about the cold hard negotiations. It's about becoming and relating to your seller. When I left there, it was 3 religious shows later, dinner, some lemonade, and petting the dog. And I'm telling you, I left there with the contract. And people laugh when I tell this story because they don't believe it. And you just vouched. You just said, things like that really happen. People, it's
Yeah.
about building rapport with the seller. I agree
Yeah. And
100%.
another situation was when I was in my previous partnership. Um, I had me and my husband had made it to the house first, and the seller was already there. We were like, "Hey, we're gonna wait on our partner to show up." So we were waiting a few minutes, and we had our baby with us, and my husband had the baby carrier on, and we were just outside looking at the house. And he had talked to the seller had talked to me over the phone before already, and so he kind of knew what I was about. But and he was comfortable with me. But once my partner showed up and he tried to like talk him down on the price, he was like, "No, no, no, I'm gonna talk to her. I want to talk to her because you're like one of those sales guys." And we that was another big thing that we realized. Our mom and pop approach, our family oriented approach, is way better than like the professional like cut, like we're contractors type of thing. People just like us a lot better when we bring our family and we're like, we're husband and wife, and plus we're young. So that's another piece of leverage we have over people.
I agree 100%. Denisha Whittle says, did you start bird dogging in your own neighborhood community or did you venture into other areas?
Oh, I don't even see that question, but no, I started in Memphis, and
Okay.
that's where I live,
Was it in
and
your
that.
neighborhood? Did you go
Oh,
outside your
in my
neighborhood or was it
neighborhood.
in? Okay.
At the time, I was living outside of where the good areas are. So we would do some driving for dollars where, like in my neighborhood that I was living at the time, which wasn't the best area where my family lives, but
Mm-hmm.
we learned to reverse wholesale. So when you reverse wholesale, you get what your buyers want. You ask them what they want, and then you go where their inventory is. Because you don't want to get a bunch of leads in areas that your buyers aren't going to buy in, or you're not going to make, money faster. Because you might make a sale in a terrible area, but it might take a really long time. You might not be able to do that. So yes, I did start out in my neighborhood, but I eventually went out to where my buyers actually look at.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. Chicken before the egg. Find out what your buyers want first and then go find it for them. That way you've got, you got a sale. It's like I tell
Yeah.
people, Walmart does extensive research before it opens a store in a neighborhood. They run the
Mm-hmm.
demographics, find out where the schools are, how many people are blue collar, how many employees they know they're going to have as a result of opening up their store. Every business does research before they go and just open up somewhere. So yeah, let me go back. We had another question up here.
Yeah, she said.
Denisha says, did she feel the offer wasn't enough, or did she start getting sentimental, the reasons why she didn't accept it first? I think she's addressing that to you
Yeah, she actually
about the,
didn't tell me the. I'm sorry.
go ahead. It was for you.
Oh yeah, she actually didn't tell me the reason that she changed her mind. She just texted me a week later and was like, "I'm gonna go ahead and accept the offer." Maybe that was her way of negotiating, trying to think that I would give her more, but I was like, "No." Like my buyer was like, "That's all I can do." We were like, "That's all we can do." No. So that's another thing, waiting. You cannot keep trying to go up. A lot of times, if you know how much you can pay or how much your investor will pay, you can't
Mm,
make your investor pay more. So you have to be
ex-
firm and be like, I can't offer you anymore. Sorry, this doesn't work out. They come back every time. They come back every time.
They come back, and I have a policy where I'll say to a seller something like, "This is my offer," and I won't leave a contract, but I'll write it up on a yellow pad paper, and I'll leave it on the kitchen table, and I'll say, "This offer is good for 48 hours."
Okay.
I kind of put that pressure on them.
It's
And
like
you
here's
know
the
what? They call back.
yeah.
They call
Yeah.
back. Well, I thought about it, and I really didn't want to go with that, but if you can do that, then we can go on and get the deal done. But here's
Right.
another thing I do too. I negotiate the deal over the phone before I go out to the house. If you can negotiate the deal and get the seller on board with you as far as numbers, once you get out to the house and you look at the repairs that are needed, then you can renegotiate because you're in a position to. So if a
Yeah.
seller has agreed on a $100,000 house to 45 on the phone, and you get out there and you see the repairs are maybe 20,000, you can kind of whittle them down, on the repairs that need to be done. But if you haven't negotiated something on the phone, I tell people, why are you in your car using up gas, time, and energy going out to the house? I have a lot of wholesalers that tell me, I got a call from a seller and I jumped in my car and ran over there. Why? Who's your mentor? You know?
I feel good for over the phone too. Like
Yeah,
you can't just yeah. That's not really
go
smart to
ahead,
do.
tell them about that. I mean, and people will say, well, I'm asking 65,000 for when we were talking to a seller the other day, and he said, "Well, I'm asking 65, and I probably could get it." I said, "Well, we're probably not a match for each other." And he got real quiet on the phone, looked real quiet. And I didn't say anything. I waited. It was like a pregnant pause. I didn't open my mouth. I didn't make a sound. I told my dog to be quiet. Nobody made a sound. I let him say something first, and then he said, "Well, so what number did you have in mind?" I said, "Nothing close to 65." I never say a number. I'm telling you, I will never open my mouth and say a number. He who says a number first, Ron LeGrand taught me this, puts his foot in his mouth.
Yep.
Never, ever, ever say a number first when you're negotiating with a seller. Let them
Yep.
tell you what they want, and then you say, "Is that the best you can do?" Yeah. So, in other words, and here's how I talk to sellers, I'll say something to the effect of, "So, Tiara, are you telling me that if I can't give you 65, that we should get off this phone?"
That's a good one.
And I
Yeah,
will
I
be
see
quiet, just like,
right. I see a few more questions in, but I did want to add like one more thing to that. I also asked,
go ahead.
what do you want out of selling your house? So are you trying to pay off your mortgage? Are you trying to move? Do you need a certain amount of money in your pocket? Are your taxes behind? I try to understand where they're coming from. So if if they say a number, I'm like, okay, so what will that solve for you? And they'll say it'll do this, this, that, and I'll be like, but there's still $20,000 left over. I really can't work with that. I'm not saying I don't want you to have the $20,000, but I'm gonna need to come down at least 10,000 so we can actually make the deal work because I can't. I'll be $10,000 too deep, and I need you to come down a little bit.
And I think that's a good negotiating technique. And again, it keeps going back to us as women negotiators. We put together the church banquets, we put together the birthday parties, we put together the family reunion. So look, we're natural negotiators. Do you agree? I
Right?
I, I
That's
think we,
what I'm saying.
yeah, we're natural negotiators. Now, I just did a deal. Well, I won't say I just did. It was about 6 or 8 months ago, where the guy who owned the house was in jail for life. He ain't never getting out. Look, you know how they say he ain't never getting out. So I negotiated a deal with him to put a certain amount of money on his books, and he
Mhm.
signed the deed over to the house. Now, in that, here's what I learned. And because me, myself personally, and just to be vulnerable with everybody, I did some jail time. So I've been in jail. I told him in my contract that I sent to him. Now, I didn't go up to the jail because I didn't want him to even see my face. I sent, you know, you can hire sheriffs to go in or notaries to go in. So
Yeah.
I put one time payment of XYZ. Because if I hadn't put one time payment, guess what? He could have milked me like a blackmailer. You follow me? So
Mm.
people don't think about that. When you're dealing with people that are incarcerated, you got to be specific in your agreements that you get with them. When your notary goes in to have them sign, be specific in your agreements. But there are tons and tons of people that are incarcerated that own houses that are sitting up vacant and boarded up. So guys, that's just a free one I'm giving out to you guys today. That's a freebie from me and Tara. Okay, go ahead. You said you saw some more questions?
Yeah, Sylvia Franklin said, "What would you cultivate first, a buyer's list or finding properties to assign?" People have different philosophies about that. Um, but I personally think it's better to go ahead and find buyers first, and then you go get what they want. But some people, they might just know, you might have done enough research to where you know the good areas and you know what price point to be at, and so you advertise that property and you get your buyers that way. I mean, either way works. I just prefer to already know what my buyers want so I don't waste my time. Because maybe I think it's a good deal, but my buyers don't think it's a good deal, and I can't find anybody who thinks it's a good deal. So, yeah, my philosophy is buyers,
Uh,
but really just you do you. But I would advise buyers first.
Buyers, chicken before the egg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Denise says, how would you approach a FISBO situation? That's for sale by owner.
I mean, it's all the same. That's basically free cold calling options because they're already listed by themselves. Most of the time, for sale by owners want more than the house is worth. I don't know why. That's just how it is sometimes. So when you negotiate with them first, they're gonna say no. Like 99% of the time, they're gonna say no to your first offer because it's way lower than what they want and below the market price. So they're gonna be the ones that you either follow up with or they're gonna call you back later. Um, but I mean, it's the same as if you're cold calling, but it is a little bit different because when you're cold calling, like from a list or from a driving for dollars list or something, they're not expecting your call. For sale by owner people, they're motivated. They want to sell. So they are happy to get a call, but they might not be happy with the number you give them on the first time.
A lot of my for sale by owners I've found have turned out to be owner finance or subject to deals because
Yeah.
they weren't open to coming down on the price.
Yeah.
And I know we're talking about wholesaling and bird dogging, but that's another technique that I have mastered as a mentor and coach is subject to an owner finance. If someone says, well, I'm not taking lower FISBO, I'm only talking about FISBOs. If they say, well, I'm not budging on $100,000, I'll say, okay, I'll give you 100,000 and then I'll go sell it for 110
Hmm.
on an owner
Always,
finance or subject. So
always the
it's
way.
more than skin a cat. You just have to know, and that's why I feel people need a mentor or coach. Because if you run into a situation like that and you don't know how to negotiate it, you just usually will walk away from that deal. Whereas me as a mentor or coach, I think of plan A, B, C, D, E, so I can come up with a different approach, and I can still get that house under contract.
And
So
even if
let's
you
see.
learn how to, I don't mean to cut you off, but like even if you don't learn how to do it, you can, I can wholesale that deal to you. Like not necessarily get a check like right there, but once that person puts down like a down payment or something, or even I be in the middle with you if you do like a sandwich lease option and I get a little bit from that time, I don't have to do anything. I just found the deal. But you're the one constructing like how much they're going to pay, the down payment, talking about like certain issues with like if repairs or whatever, if that's the case. But I just
Right.
found the deal. I couldn't wholesale it in the way that I wanted to, but you know how to work with it. So even if you don't necessarily learn that skill, if you find somebody who knows that skill, you can still make some coin out of that situation.
Absolutely. I did a deal where the guy wanted, he wouldn't budge on the 150 for his house. And it was
Mm-hmm.
ARV probably at about 175. So the numbers were really tight. you know, most investors want about 30,000 left on the table for them. So I agreed to, with him personally, I said, how about if I go find you someone that will pay you monthly and buy this house from you and you can sell it to them, but I'm going to include my fee and they'll pay my fee. So I got an $8,000 assignment fee from someone I brought to the table to him. I asked him for 10, so I gave him 2 and I walked with 8. So, I mean, the average wholesaler would have walked away from that deal because
Right.
they couldn't see where it could be worked out, but I made 8 grand off of it. So it's just different ways of doing real estate. The thing I love about real estate is you can get so creative. But
Mhm.
again, let's go back to the basics. Kindergarten. If you don't start out bird dogging or wholesaling and you jump in the deep water first, you're going to make every freaking mistake in the world. Every
Everyone.
mistake. Is that true? You agree with that, Tara?
I 100% agree. I agree.
So guys, give us some hearts and some thumbs up. Let us know you're in here. I see Denisha. Let's see, some more people came on board. Darren, Scott, Orambi. I hope I pronounced that right. Jimmy. I can say Jimmy. Emerson, Angelia, Ryan, Harry, and Calvin. Give us some thumbs up, guys. Let us see you're in here. I'm asking you, wave. Give us some thumbs up. We want to see a lot of thumbs up. Come on, there you go. There you go. Come on, more, 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 more. It's like at the casino when you look when you're at the casino, you see ding, 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 ding. There you go. Show us some love, guys. We're trying to drop some information on you guys, trying to share some nuggets with you. So, let's talk a little bit more about some real estate deals, some different types of real estate deals. What other type of deals have you experienced around? I know in Memphis, it's very easy to do owner finance or subject to because it's one of those states that it's not as difficult as Texas. Now here in Texas, it's extremely difficult to do those kind of deals. I mean, they can be done, but it's extremely difficult. But what would be your advice to someone if they ran into a deal and it wasn't a wholesale deal? What would be a B plan?
A B plan, I mean, at least for me, I know like I think 3 or 4 people who do sub two deals. And so I would
Mhm.
just be like, hey, I can't work with this. They're upside down on their mortgage, all this type of stuff. I let them know the situation and I pass it on to them. They give me either a few $100 or a couple grand out of it, and I'm done with it. I'm done because I haven't done enough research on how to do those things. And I may not get into
Mhm.
it because I'm very much into specializing in something. And
Exactly.
apparently I specialize in bird dogging. So that's my thing. I'm much into like helping beginners learn how to even get into the business. As far as like, I'm going to eventually have my own rental properties and things like that. But as far as right now, I'm just specializing in like lead generation and wholesaling. Other than that, I wouldn't do it personally, but my advice is to at least find somebody who can do it. So if you do want to learn it, you can go with them and learn like step by step exactly how to execute it. Because you got the deal, you have a right to know that information if they're going to do whatever they're going to
Right.
do with it. So it's like, hey, can you, kind of teach me like at least a little bit of it?
Hmm. So I think we ended up getting cut off in the last video. In the were we in the lightning round or had we did the lightning round?
But we did the lightning round. We did it in this video. Yeah.
We did it in this
Hmm.
one. Okay, because I want to make
Yeah.
sure in case people missed it. I love that part of it going forward. So people can reach out to you on your Bird Dog Real Estate Facebook page, and also what is the membership group that you started?
The bird dog experts.
Oh, okay. So they can reach out to you there and get information. This young lady has over 4,000 members, almost 5,000. I'm looking at it now,
Yeah.
almost 5,000 members on her Bird Dog Facebook site. I'm a member of it. I get in there often. I post things. I answer questions if I can. Try to help and support you guys in what you're trying to do. And also, I'm in Dallas, Memphis, Chicago, Phoenix, Colorado, and we're branching into Atlanta in December. We're going to be putting together a women's conference. So when I come through Memphis, you're definitely going to be one of my speakers here.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
I'm telling you
Okay.
now, you'll be on my panel. I'm doing women's panels. I'm going across the country doing women's panels on real estate, not with real estate agents, but with women that are really in the trenches doing deals, putting out bandit signs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
Yep.
don't live in the world of brokers. I don't live in the world of banks. I don't live in the world of credit. I live in the
Yeah.
world where we find sellers that are nursing. When I was a nurse in the ER, my job was to solve a problem fast. I didn't have time to negotiate with you. I didn't have time to argue with you. I had to stop your pain. And it's the same thing in the real estate investing business. Our job is to solve problems. And those are the women that I want to interview and that I want on my panel when I travel around the country. Women that know how to think fast in the moment and solve a problem. Now, granted, I was thinking fast when I was watching Joel Osteen and Creflo.
Wow.
Angels because her husband had died in the back bedroom. Now, this was really crazy. Her husband had died in the back bedroom, so she was afraid to go back in that room. I went back there because I'm a nurse. I deal with death all the time. So I went back in the room and she said, I keep these angels to protect me from bad spirits. I don't know what she was worried about. You know, people, older people have their idiosyncrasies or whatever. But she gave me all the angels. My point is, I still have all the angels. It was 38 angels. I still have all the angels. I have all the furniture. I have a huge storage that I keep all that stuff in. Because when I do deals, people give me all the furniture. I've been given two Mercedes. I don't know if you've experienced that,
Wow.
but I've been given cars. One lady gave me the dog. You know, when people want to
That's
just get out
funny.
of the problem, they're not thinking about the dishes, the food, the furniture. They want to walk away. Do you
Yep.
agree with? Have you experienced? They just
Um,
want to walk away.
yeah, the most we got was like some clothes, but we never wore the clothes. We just ended up giving those away. But yeah, that was pretty much it. But we see, like when we do some walkthroughs, like we see a lot of stuff that is left in a house. They eventually come back and get like some of the valuable things, but not everything.
Not everything, because people are thinking, I just want to get out of here. I remember about 4 years ago, I bought a house from a lady here in Dallas, and she said, if you come over here right now, I'll sign the paperwork and everything, and you can have everything in the house. This lady was cooking dinner for her kids. Do you know she left the frying pan and everything on the stove? All the food in the refrigerator, all the furniture. She got in her car with her kids. I guess she had already packed up some luggages or whatever. She got in her car and that lady left. She signed that contract with me and she left.
Wow.
She said, wire me my
Wow.
money up. You see her say wire because she didn't know wire. But she said, have them send me my money. She just wanted to, I don't know if she was in an abusive relationship. I really don't know the details, but there was something that she was running from. And long
Mhm.
story short, once title cleared and everything, she gave the title company her forwarding address. They sent her check, and it was a smooth transition. But I'm telling you, she was cooking hamburger helper that night. I'll never forget. It was hamburger helper because I like hamburger helper, and I don't eat meat a lot, but I love some hamburger helper. And she left it on the stove, and she was like, "If you want some dinner or something,"
Wow.
just walked away.
I just
Pots,
got somebody
pans.
who requested. I just
Oh,
got
go
somebody
ahead.
who requested to join the bird dog experts. I just got a notification.
Well, there you go. Congratulations. That's what we're here to
Thank
help you.
you.
So,
Thank
guys, I
you.
hope that we dropped some good nuggets on you. I hope that you got a lot of good information. We talked about everything from bird dogging to wholesaling to dealing with, sellers that are incarcerated. We talked about dealing with elderly people. Um, we talked about a lot of different things, so you can always watch the replay. And we are so glad that you guys were able to come on board and be with us. And Tiara, thank you so much for allowing me to interview you in my series of successful entrepreneurial women. I'm very honored to have, interviewed you today and for you to be a young lady. I mean, I have children your age. So I'm definitely y'all you millennials, and then I'm gonna start moving into the middle age, and then I'll go to the people my age. So we'll start finding out who's on because I want to interview 100 women before the end of this year. So if any of you on here listening know some women that I should be interviewing or I should be telling their story, please reach out to me, PM me, or send me something and let me know someone that I should be interviewing. And Tiara, if you want to refer someone to me that's in your group or something that you think is really outstanding that I should be interviewing, please reach out to me and let me know. because I want, oh, they call Generation X. She told me instead of millennials, Generation X. Okay.
Yeah,
Is
like
that
my
what it's called?
sister's 12 and she, yeah, yeah, they're Generation X. So I'm like, they keep switching it
So
with my
wait,
birth year.
who's Generation X? You or your sister?
My sister definitely is, but they keep switching it with my birth year. They keep trying to change it from 1999 to like 1992. But I
Oh,
just claim millennial, so
so millennium. Okay. All right. So guys, again, I'm on a quest to interview 100 women between now and the end of December that are successful entrepreneurs, that are bossing up, that are CEOs, that are taking charge of their life. And guys, remember my catchphrase? They asked me what's my favorite position. I said CEO. Any parting words, Tiara, that you want to leave with
thank
the
you for
audience?
having me. I really appreciate you reaching out and asking me to be on here. It's a great experience, a great talk. Um, I kind of feel enlightened a little bit because I learned a little bit from you, and I didn't know that I knew what I knew, honestly. Because when I'm writing down the things that I want to make videos about, I'm not thinking about everything. But the questions you asked really brought some thoughts to my brain, and I'm like, I need to do a video on that. I didn't even make a video on that.
Right. Yeah, and that's what one thing that I appreciate within myself as a mentor and coach, I can pull stuff out of people, and I've learned how to do that because I've been watching you for months. I've been studying you for months, so I knew that you had more inside you than was coming out. So I said, I got to